we had to have wallpaper hung, and my contractor said, I have a wallpaper guy. This dude is Michelangelo.
Your special is about, in part, like coming to terms with being 50, with having sort of like finding love again and gradually sliding into like old man racism. So among other things. Like, does it feel like a different sort of special in terms of vibe for you in any sense?
Well, I mean, especially it's different in terms of, the last special was about absolute grief and, the title Annihilation and Do I Even Go On? And I ended on the shakiest sliver of hope. And so this one, it felt like it was like a resurging of the life force. And for a comedian, the resurging of the life force looks like I'm just going to be as goofy as I possibly can and actually just enjoy stuff and not get that dark and deep, even though there is some darkness and deepness in it because you can't help it these days. There's a beauty in, as you age, getting the fuck out of the way. Gen X, fortunately, because we have that whatever, never mind, I think we're a little better equipped to go, okay, I'm grayer, I'm older, I don't need to be the hip person anymore. I will get out of the way and let whatever the next thing is come up. And I think a lot of the problems that we're experiencing right now is there's a generation, and I don't want to lay it all on the boomers. There's many self-actualized and self-aware boomers that are very cool about getting out of the way, but there's a very vocal contingent that do not like the fact that they are heading into their 60s and 70s, and they will do anything to end the world with them. It's got to end with us. And I think that that's a lot of the undercurrent of this. I don't even want to call it a Republican death cult. I think it's a generational death cult. If they were the first generation that was all about being young and being cool, and if they can't be the young and cool ones anymore, they'll just take everything out. And I think that Trump was just a symptom of that temper tantrum for them. It's easy to make jokes about for a couple of minutes, and then it just gets really depressing. And I talk about that too. I don't really have any Trump material in the special because I'm like, having Trump as a president is terrible for a comedian. There's no, you're not needed. If he's the president, the public doesn't need you coming. Hey, do you want to hear a joke I read about this? No, we're good. We can see it. We're just watching it. You talk about like Trump's base and just like the MAGA core. You can really see how things are changing for them in terms of joy and happiness in that what they're reacting to now. George W. Bush put out a video like calling for unity, and people are the Trumpers are attacking him because he didn't even mention Trump in the video. He was just saying, let's all come together and try to help this. But the idea of saying, let's come together and have unity, they perceive it as an attack, which shows you like where they are in terms of the arc of their, I guess, misery. A friend of mine participated in a video, this is a couple of years ago, it was anti-hate, had nothing to do with Trump. There were Republicans and Democrats in it. It was all like anti-hate. And he got swarmed on his social media because they're like, why do you hate Trump so much? And he's like, all I said was it was just an anti-hate PSA that I did a little thing on. But that's how they perceived it. The kind of the Trump core now is at we've shut out everyone else and all we've got is each other, and they're going to celebrate that for a little bit, and then they're just going to start turning on each other because that's the energy that drives them, and that doesn't sustain any kind of group.
And the guy putting up the wallpaper, I can't see him, but I can hear him. He's in the room where the wallpaper's going up, and he's going, Kirby! You got too much paste near the seams, it's bubbling up! I gotta scrape it, god damn it, Kirby!
Your special is a little dirtier maybe than like old specials, or it's a little, you talk about sex a little more than like maybe you have in the past. Do you think that's true, or is that just me?
In my past specials, I've talked about like orgies and porn, and I mean, obviously that stuff. I mean, I don't talk about it in a men are like this about sex, women are like this. I'm trying to do a bit more of a bemused, But as you get, especially I think as you get older and you look back on how you were in all aspects, socially, philosophically, and sexually when you were younger, and then when you look back on it when you're older, there's so much comedy to be mined from that. Like oh my God, if I could sit down with the person I was, I'd have to stop myself from slapping this idiot half the time. Like, so there's that. So maybe if there's more sexuality there, maybe, but I mean, I've never been like, uh, fascinated with sex as a comedic topic. I'm fascinated with whatever I can make funny.
Your Twitter, you have some political posts on there. Can comedy change minds?
I think that art can change minds, whatever it is, a song, a moment in a movie. I'm sure you've experienced it too. Something you've read, something you've heard, something you've looked at has changed the way you look at the world. And even if I don't mean like you hear a song and you suddenly go, we've got to save you're completely turned around. Even the tiniest change in your behavior sends out a ripple effect into the universe and into the world that you live in. There's a hopeful aspect to that no, obviously I don't think retweeting this picture or this thought is going to completely, turn everything around, but it'll create a little effect, and the cumulative effect of it is what does it. And, I've seen that in my own experience. The first time I went on stage as a comedian, didn't change the world, but I got like a tiny half laugh. And then next time I got a slightly bigger one. So it's all incremental, and it happens over a long time. And then suddenly everything has changed because you kept showing up and doing it, And so that kind of feeling, even if you see the tiniest little shift, if you've lived long enough, you know what that shift can turn into.
I look at the guy with the sawhorses and I say, I assume you're Kirby. And the guy at the sawhorses said, there's no Kirby.